Energy. They had sent a team out to evaluate the spill, but says they are not responsible for the leak.
The slick is not drifting towards the Louisiana coast at this time. Operation Flipper is a success. WWL's Matt Doyle has more on the rescue of a dolphin that got washed into a Slidell retention pond by Ida's storm surge.
St. Tammany Parish Sheriff Randy Smith tells WWL TV that local residents put in a lot of calls imploring him to save the aquatic mammal. Smith says they normally would only get this many calls over a dog.
This is pretty unusual, and it's pretty amazing to see this much effort go into saving Flipper here.
The dolphin will be rehabbed in Mississippi.
Our best is with Flipper, and hope we get him the medical attention he needs and get him released back into his natural habitat.
Matt Doyle, WWL First News.
Cars had lined streets alongside the retention pond to get a look at the stranded mammal, causing traffic issues in the area. Entergy says it has restored more than a third of all outages, with most areas getting power back within the next 4 days. Those closer to the coast and along the I-path near the I-55 will take longer. The hardest hit areas may not have restoration until the end of the month. Just over 500,000 Entergy customers affected by outages right now. And Entergy acknowledges that outage map on its website is not always accurate in every neighborhood. Clico, meanwhile, says it has restored more than 80% of its St. Tammany Parish customers. New Orleans Catholic Archbishop Gregory Amond used his Sunday Mass to reassure residents questioning why God would send yet another destructive hurricane to Louisiana.
God does not have this heavenly weather station where he sits at this weather station in heaven and says, this one will be named Ida, and it's for Louisiana, and he presses a button, and there it goes.
Amon says God lets the forces of nature take their course. He added that Jesus is with us as we struggle and recover.
CBS News Brief. Tensions are hitting a dangerous level in some parts of Louisiana, where hundreds of thousands are still without power a week after Hurricane Ida hit. Fuel is also in short supply. CBS's Elise Preston reports.
Violence broke out at a Louisiana gas station when a driver fatally shot another after witnesses say the alleged gunman cut a long line.
Nobody needed to lose their life over freaking gas.
The remnants of Ida brought catastrophic flooding to parts of the Northeast, including Manville, New Jersey. Shah Zeb runs a limo business and lost several cars.
These are gone. I had this car for 80 years, kept it like my baby. It's just couldn't do anything.
The Biden administration is working to roll out COVID booster shots starting September 20th. Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Right now, we are suggesting, and hopefully it will work out that way, that if you got Pfizer, you will then boost with Pfizer. If you get Moderna, you'll be boosting with Moderna.
CBS News Brief, I'm Wendy Gillette.
Here's Tim Zimmer with WWL Sports.
Coach O and his LSU Tigers were looking to put past defensive struggles behind them in 2021, but they showed up again on Saturday night against UCLA. The Bruins had 468 total yards of offense against the Tigers, including this score late in the fourth quarter to put the Tigers away.
Single back in Charbonnet, left side of Thompson Robinson. Again, a high snap. He fields it. Slings it down the middle of the field. Catch going to be made. Hauled in inside the 25 is Kyle Phillips. Puts a tackle at the 15 and down the near sideline. Finds himself in the end zone. And UCLA makes it 37-20.
LSU's defense allowed 16 yards per pass against Bruins quarterback Dorian Thompson. The Tigers will head back to Baton Rouge on Saturday to take on McNeese State. Tim Zimmer, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Well, today will feature plenty of sunshine across southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi, but it's going to be hot. Temperatures are expected to climb into the lower 90s today. That drier air is still in the area, keeping our humidity values quite comfortable in some areas, but it's still going to be hot. A heat advisory goes into effect later on this morning, lasting into the early evening hours, so we have just enough humidity for the feels-like temperatures to feel like a triple digit, so make sure you're being careful, staying hydrated while you're outside. Tomorrow is Labor Day, but not too bad. Our rain chances will increase some, so expect scattered showers, isolated downpours in a few spots, temperatures climbing into the lower 90s. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL-TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
88 degrees at Armstrong New Orleans International, 92 on the North Shore. I'm Chris Miller, WWL First News.
On WWLAMFM.com and the Odyssey app, Louisiana's official emergency management station, it's continuing coverage of the aftermath of Ida. Live from our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios. Also,
we have Priscilla and Todd.
95.7 and B97. Connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. Back to Team WWL.
Hey, good afternoon. Doug Sunseri here with the continuous coverage of the recovery of Hurricane Ida. I'm an attorney. I've been on WWL for the last 13 years for All Things Legal, which comes on Sunday mornings from 8 to 10. And maybe some of the listeners who don't listen on Sunday, you hear me for the first time. I'm an attorney. I've been WWL since 2008, affiliated with that. I was with WDSU for 2 years doing a Monday nights with Norman Robinson on hurricane recovery for Hurricane Katrina. So we've done about 2,000 insurance claims since Hurricane Katrina. We've gone to court. We've taken it all the way to the Supreme Court on a lot of issues regarding Hurricane Katrina, and sort of made some law, and we're here to help you guys. So if you want to call in with your insurance do's and don'ts, what to do, how to file a claim, all the issues regarding filing an insurance claim, let's do it. We're going to go straight to the phone lines. I'm not tempted to talk about LSU football, so we're going to get straight to it. So let's go to Priscilla. Priscilla, Doug Sunseri, attorney. How can I help you?
Yes, like I was saying, it's complicated. My father died, and they forced my mother into succession for my father half. Mm-hmm. And we each have 1/6 of my father half. My mother died 4 months ago, and she left the will giving my sister and I half of her own assets and house.
Okay.
And I asked my sister to file for succession, and she told me no. So I went ahead and I scrounged money to file for succession. The judge refused to get it because she wasn't a part of it.
Right, she's not an interested party. Okay.
And I went back and asked her again, and she told me, she said, I resent you, I don't like you, and I'm not going to have the succession.
Okay,
so
let me figure out. You want to open succession, is that correct?
I haven't opened it. I paid the lawyer for it.
Okay. What's your objective? What do you want to accomplish?
I filed for my mother's insurance on her house.
Okay.
And
who's appointed? Let me stop you for a second because I just need to ask a question. Who's appointed as the administrator of the estate?
We're co-executrix of the estate.
Yeah, you're the executrix. Is that correct?
I had to get administrator, but the judge, I don't know what happened to that.
Okay. I'm just trying to keep you pointing in the right direction. So you're appointed as executrix, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you filed the insurance claim, right?
My sister, yes, and she done called me a B. I just want
Well, let me tell you this. You, Jameis Winston, you're the first string quarterback, and you get to quarterback this succession, as far as the insurance claim is concerned. Now, if some people in the crowd are booing you, it doesn't change your status as being quarterback. Okay? So do what you have to do. And, the sister issue is a personal issue, but you are a first string quarterback as far as the succession is concerned. Do what you need to do and make the decisions you need to make. She's gone, Doug. Just keep talking. All right. Let's go to Todd. Hey, Todd.
Todd's gone. Nobody on the line.
Okay. Well, today, like I said, when we have callers, we're going to get to them as quick as possible. What we have today is, first of all, we're going to have Eric White at 1 o'clock. He's a roofing expert. One of the issues that most people are going to have, there's probably two big issues that happen with this hurricane. Two of the larger issues. One is trees, whether trees fell on your fence or they just fell down and didn't damage anything, or also roofs. And one of the issues with roofs is, and this is my opinion, what I heard, is that I'm not saying this from my personal knowledge, I'm just an attorney, but we have been in many trials where you've had roofing experts make opinions as to whether high winds and how hurricane winds can damage a roof and to what extent. So a lot of what I say is based on people like Paul LaGrange, roofing experts. I'm just repeating what I heard. I don't have independent knowledge of that because that's not, that's outside of my lane. But I would say that most roofers who are experienced told me that roofs are unable to withstand more than 90 miles an hour winds sustained for 5 minutes, which would include the majority of the greater New Orleans area. And a lot of the insurance companies will take a position that you need a roof patch, or you need a fourth of a roof that's fixed, or a half a roof, or 3/4 of a roof. And what you're going to have to do is advocate, because it's my position, as far as roof is concerned, is like pregnancy. You're either pregnant or you're not. You either got a damaged roof, you got to replace it, or you don't. There's really no middle ground with this for most of these roofs. Now, I may get some calls from the insurers or certain roofers who disagree, but I think based on what is, the wind speeds in the greatest, in Southeast Louisiana, I do think as far as the majority of these roofs, you're going to need a new roof. There will be exceptions. You have to have an analysis of these roofs by experts to determine that. And I think one of the things Eric is going to talk about is don't rush into a decision on your roof. Get it tarped, get it secured, and use a licensed Louisiana contractor or roofing contractor, someone local, because sometimes even after the roof is fixed, with good roofers, you're still going to have issues regarding, maybe some follow-up work. And if you get an out-of-state roofing contractor for this follow-up work, you're not going to find them once this, work is done. Plus, it's an accountability issue. If they're in Texas or they're in California or Florida or wherever they come from, you're going to have a hard time keeping them accountable because they're just geographically not here. So basically, we're going to have Eric White. At 2:00, we're going to have Ken Savage, who is a building consultant. He's a claims consultant, estimator, who is working on the homeowner side, who worked on the insurance side for 16 years. And what we're going to talk about with Ken is sort of getting inside the head of a claims adjuster from the insurance company and trying to give him information as to, how it would be helpful to get them the right information so they could maximize your claim. Now, for example, one of our clients from Hurricane Isaac, and he'd called me last night, and being overwhelmed, he came back to his house. He has 3 feet of flood. His roof basically failed. He's got a lot of water stain on the ceilings and on the walls, and some of it's visible. Some of it's visible, and some of it's not. Now, what I told him to do is go around the house and put blue tape on all the water spots, all areas of damage, so that when the adjuster comes in, it'll be easy to identify and point out, because it's overwhelming if you have 50 or 60 water spots. You have the 50 or 60 areas of damage. You have 56, you have areas where, your floor is damaged. At least if you have that blue tape there, it's easy to point out. So that's a little tip to do. If you have a claims adjuster going over there, take blue tape, put it at the area of damage. And I don't care if the water spot's the size of a nickel. Do it, because the claims adjusters have to see that damage. Even if it's a small water spot, it is indicative of some type of roof failure immediately above. So, the more you show to the claims adjuster, the more you'll be able to maximize your claim and let them have the right information so they could process your claim. So who do we have in the first, line one?
Martin.
Hey, Martin, you're on the continuous coverage for recovery of Hurricane Ida. What do you have for us? How can we help you?
Doug, my question is, when Katrina hit, our home was damaged, and State Farm, and I don't mind using their name, because the adjuster they sent here was a hairdresser from out of state. Now, what a hairdresser knows any more about construction than I do personally. So I hope it doesn't happen again. But is there some law or
Your guest, John Blanchard, is on the line too.
their justice from?
Okay, can you run that up by me again? You cut out for a second. You asked me. You asked me about the adjuster. The last question.
The adjuster that sent our home in Metairie in Katrina. I'm walking outside to get a better signal here.
Yeah.
It was an adjuster, a hairdresser from out of state.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
I don't know how much information. Go ahead.
That's a good point. And I'm going to tell you an anecdote later in the show about 2005 in Katrina. But the first line with a lot of adjusting companies, and I've gotten a lot of texts and emails from adjusting company friends who are saying they're having a hard time laboring up. And a lot of times the first group batch of adjusters, a lot of them have construction insurance, a lot of them don't, or limited. And so if you have an adjuster who has limited construction experience, a lot of times you can ask for a readjustment or you can talk to a supervisor, but they know that also. And so, in Katrina, you had a lot of ex-blackjack dealers, waiters, and, bartenders who went through a week class and were sent out for Katrina. Now, I'm not saying that's happening this time, but you're going to have a lot of inexperienced adjusters out there because they need warm bodies. Just keep that in mind, be polite, respectful to them. But also, you have the opportunity, if the adjustment's deficient, to call his supervisor and say, look, I think he's really missed a lot of things. Can you send somebody else back out? The other thing you can do is hire your own building consultant like Ken Savage or somebody like that who will do their own, or contractor who will do their own estimate. But it's very important if they do their own estimate to do it in the Xactimate computer program that the insurance company uses, because you're comparing apples to apples, oranges to oranges. A lot of insurance companies kick back estimates that just are 1 or 2 page estimates, are done by room or square footage because they want detail. So you can also, if you have a situation like that, is hire your own consultant, make sure they have the Xactimate program. You can tack the cost on they might cost X amount of money as part of your insurance claim because they're helping define the scope of damage. So you should get reimbursed for that. So those are your options. And, that may be an issue with certain adjusters. The warm bodies that maybe don't have as much experience as the ones who have been in construction for an extended period of time.
He's gone, John Blanchard.
Yeah. On the line, I got John Blanchard, owner of Rock and Bowl, which is a cultural icon in New Orleans. Thanks for calling, John.
Hey, Doc, how you doing?
Good. John and I have been texting back a little bit, and I wanted to have John on because he's got an issue. He's got some thoughts on the recovery, but he has an issue that is going to be very common to many businesses in Southeast Louisiana as far as civil authority, and we want to talk about that. And John, I know you had some concerns about the recovery in general for business owners like yourself.
Right. I mean, I am concerned. I'm in exile in Lafayette right now. We were doing meals for Entergy before the storm, and we needed supplies in Lafayette. So I came up last Saturday evening after Mass and made the delivery. Lafayette had no problems at all during the storm, and so it was a fortunate happenstance. We've had no problems with getting gasoline here, so I've been able to make 4 trips back and forth to New Orleans this week and try and get our operations in New Orleans stable again. We had roof damage, and 3 poles were snapped on Fig Street, which is next to Yale College in Rock and Bowl. So we lost power. We lost all our food inventory, and so it won't be easy to restock and get open soon. And I think that's going to be a general problem across the city is supply lines across our country have been very slow. And so, everybody knows that. It's been hard to get materials. Before this storm hit, we had trouble getting anything repaired and getting materials to get it repaired. So right now, with so much, epic devastation across this whole region, we're going to play heck getting materials and getting workers to do it. And so, I mean, this recovery is not going to be very easy. This storm is a major problem for our area. Not just New Orleans, but the whole region, all the river parishes. I mean, even north of the lake got hit, badly. But you know what I mean? There's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You finish thought.
They, like I said, where are we going to get the plywood, the lumber, the roofing supplies, the roofer workers to address the widespread, damage? The supply chains were thin. There'll be no sense of urgency to send materials into a city with no viable workforce. This is not going to be like Katrina, where you would see, cheap Latin American labor lined up outside Home Depot. And, let's face it, I mean, the truth is those folks helped rebuild the city when, after Katrina. It was hard to find workers, and, God bless those people, and they came in and they helped. But, where they, said, there's plenty of men. I heard, and it goes to say, but I heard in some of these hurricane evacuation centers that there's thousands of Mexicans that are there right now. I mean, that they've been shipped in, but they're coming here, and they're going to be coming here because there's going to be work to be done. But where are they going to go to work? With in New Orleans, the Orleans proper, with all this emphasis on mandates and vaccination cards, these people aren't vaccinated. So when they go to work, they're not going to come into New Orleans and get hassled when they can go into Metairie, Houma, Thibodeau, Des Allemands, and get to work. And we have a problem. New Orleans has to get back on the importance of work and getting to it. We're laxed here, and the good old Judeo-Christian work ethic and prayer is going to be essential in our recovery. And right now, I mean, that's being stunted.
Well, and one of the things, and I want to tie that in to the insurance issue. One, if you have a business that's damaged, one of the issues that's going to be is the restoration period for your business interruption, and also for your business interruption and other issues. Is basically what the insurance companies will say is based on the damage, you should be back in business in 2 or 3 months. Whereas what John was saying about, disruptions in supply lines due to COVID before, disruptions as far as, having enough workers here, it might take 6 or 7 months. And a lot of the issues that you will have with your business interruption policy is that the insurance companies say, well, this damage was only $30,000. So therefore, it should only take you about 2 months to repair. And in reality, based on the other factors that John was mentioning, it might be a 6 or 7 month job. And so the insurance company is going to sit on 2 or 3 months of business interruption in that case. That's if you have physical damage that keeps you out of business. Instead, and where it really takes 8 or 9 months, and that's going to be part of the negotiation. And that's going to be part of the issues in order to get the maximum business interruption. Now, another thing with John's case, which may or may not, because I'm sure he's still got to do more inspection, is the civil authority issue, which is very sort of complicated now. Because I think under John, Rock and Bowl, let's say they have some physical damage, but are not enough to keep them, making their place inhabitable. Then the next activation of business interruption is civil authority, right, John?
Correct.
And so this is sort of confusing. If government officials said evacuation, get out, civil authority kicks in. Now, John, you've had a hard time since March of 2002. If you could go through, where was Rock and Bowl from March 2002 to this summer, and then how the hurricane affected you?
We were, completely you know, I mean, that was we were still in business because we got the PPP money, all through that COVID 14 months that we were shut down, but I was able to pay my employees, with that and keep my staff together. Right now, I mean, I'm looking. So we got open when we were able to get open again. In May, when they said, okay, we can really start doing business the way we did. We had a great May, a great June. We had an unbelievably good July. August looked like it was going to be super.
We're going to go to break soon.
And then this whole, the Delta variant and the mandates. I mean, my business just cut in less than half. And so, I mean, I lost a bunch of money in August being open, but I'm keeping my employees together. Right now, we are, scattered. I still don't have power in the restaurant. I have roof damage on the Rock and Bowl. My employees are out there. It just so happened payroll was this past Wednesday, so they just got paid. But I've had to tell them, look, guys, right now I don't know when I'm going to open. Go ahead and apply for unemployment. Let's try to stick together. But I mean, I don't know when I'm going to be able to get back in business. And not just be back in business, because that's the thing, Doug. That okay, well, you can get back in business, but who are you going to serve? Who's here? Right. I ran into New Orleans again. Like I said, I've been 4 times this week. Yesterday, I went to where I normally go to Mass at St. Rita, off Walmsley there, and whereas normally there's 150, 160 people in church, there's 37. I mean, I counted yesterday. The people are not in New Orleans. So I can be in the business of, of the restaurant and the party business, but who am I going to serve? And I mean, I can't just open my business and continually lose money. So we have to, I mean, there's so many people in the city now who are damaged. I mean, they are so preoccupied with how they're going to get their roof fixed, how they're going to get the sheetrock fixed, and there's nobody here to work.
Right. And
we have a real problem.
And we got to go to break in a couple of minutes. And what I want to illustrate John's situation is, first of all, civil authority. If you have civil authority, you probably have civil business interruption. Civil authority kicks in your business interruption benefits, where you get to recoup your profit, your lost profits. And that includes, and I'll give you the formula for that in a little while, but basically you recoup your lost profits, and you can continue to pay your employees to a certain extent. But it was very complicated because the mayor said it's too late for an evacuation. I think I would have called one. But get away if you can. After the storm,
you certainly should have called for an evacuation. Well, that was a huge mistake.
After the storm, the mayor, government officials said, stay away. You have no utilities. You have no gas. You have no water. So they stayed away. And then on top of that, a curfew is imposed, which, John, most of your money's made after 8 o'clock, and a curfew is imposed.
Exactly.
So therefore, it's opposition. That it's a de facto civil authority, even though it wasn't called a mandatory evacuation, and that business interruption and additional living expenses should kick in. Now, Allstate and USAA, it's been reported that they're going to pay additional living expenses. I don't know if they're going to pay business interruption expenses, because that's probably a lot more significant money for businesses, but I don't know. So what I wanted to do is illustrate with Rock and Bowl. And John's pretty typical of his business is that civil authority issue. If Rock and Bowl and other businesses are able to collect that business interruption for the time period, at least for civil authority, it would help you get back on your feet, John.
Exactly.
And so, is there?
I need something to pay my employees and keep them at home.
Yeah.
And keep them going.
In about 20.
Where's that money going to come from?
About 20 seconds. Do you have anything else you want to add?
That's good, man. Thank you so much for your time, and God bless everybody. Good luck out there.
All right, thank you, John. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, part of the continuous coverage of recovery from Hurricane Ida on the Odyssey family of radio stations. You can call us or text us at 504-260-1870. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Northern Tool and Equipment is open and ready to help. Stop in for generators, water pumps, fans, power tools, scaffolding, and more.
Doug, just to let you know that around 12:45-ish or 1 o'clock-ish, there'll be a governor press conference we're going to go to.
48 Martin Luther King Boulevard.
This is an important message.
It's kind of fluid with the time, though.
Okay.
As we work to restore your service, please make safety your top priority. Portable generators should never be connected directly to a home's wiring, as this could send electricity back into the power lines where Entergy crews
We have CC and we have Mike on the line.
For more information on generator safety, download the free Entergy app or visit EnergyStormCenter.com.
After the storm is over, if you think you have wind damage or missing roofing, siding, and gutters, call VinylTech. They have a AAA rating with the BBB, so you know they can be trusted. VinylTech has been serving the New Orleans Metro for over 20 years. They are the local exterior specialist.
Hi, this is Shay Mulkey of VinylTech. Let us work with you to get your home looking brand new again. I guarantee you will be satisfied. Call me, Shay Mulkey, at VinylTech, 504-469-7590, and online at vinyltechnola.com.
If you're a State Farm customer affected by the recent hurricane and need to submit a claim, go to statefarm.com, call 1-800-SF-CLAIM, download the State Farm mobile app, or contact your local State Farm agent. With one of the industry's largest catastrophe response teams, State Farm and your agent are ready to help. Go to statefarm.com to start your claim. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 130 has immediate job opportunities. Earn $44.78 an hour with industry-leading benefits, including health care for you and your family, a great retirement package, excellent working conditions, and a continuing education program. If you have integrity, a strong work ethic, and believe pride in your work counts for something, call 504-831-1372 or visit IBWLU130.com.
Although Hurricane Ida has come and gone, many in greater New Orleans and southeast Louisiana are still without power, without food and water, without air conditioning, some without homes. So WWL and our Odyssey family of stations are partnering with Second Harvest Food Bank to get help to those who need it most. Every dollar you donate will provide 4 disaster meals to aid families, friends, and neighbors in Louisiana. Can you help? Donate now at WWL.com or OdysseyCares.com. Although the storm is over, the danger may not be. As the cleanup begins, watch for low-hanging or downed power lines. These lines may be hidden under fallen trees or branches. Always assume a downed line is energized. Stay away, keep others away, and call 911 or CLECO at 1-800-622-6537. CLECO is working as quickly and safely as possible to restore your power. At CLECO, they're working to keep you safe before, during, and after the storm.
Rebuilding from the recent storms, ADCO Metals are here to help. Call the experts at ADCO Metals. We serve all of Louisiana and Mississippi. Call ADCO Metals at 888-858-3222 or visit adcometals.com. Quality counts. Count on the experts at ADCO Metals.
At Hancock Whitney, we've got your back. From Homa to New Orleans, we quickly mobilized our associates and partners, offering much-needed meals and water to the community. And we've already deployed over $2.5 million to support recovery efforts. We've got your banking needs covered too via mobile and online banking. For updates on financial centers, ATMs, disaster recovery assistance loans, loan deferral programs, and other recovery resources, visit HancockWhitney.com/IDA. Louisiana, we've got your back. Hancock Whitney Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Brandon Hawley here. We make it easy. Windows with blinds built in. Relief Windows.
Hey guys, who's after CC again?
It's the aftermath of Ida.
Who's after CC?
WWLAMFM.com.
Sorry, what now?
Who's after CC?
Also on Magic 101.9.
Mike.
Okay, gotcha.
7 and B97. Share your storm story on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line. 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Attorney Doug Sunseri, part of the continuous coverage of recovery from Hurricane Ida on the Odyssey family of radio stations. Just call us about your insurance questions and your Hurricane Ida claims, and we'll do our best to point you in the right direction. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to CC. How can we help you, CC?
Hi, thanks for taking my question.
Sure.
I inherited 2 homes in Orleans Parish, and the succession was about 3 weeks prior to the storm. I'm also the executive of the state. The property sustained damage, And of course, they're insured, but the insurance is in the deceased name. How do I start a claim? I do have the judgment of possession, but did not get them changed over, the property changed over to my name. And there's also a mortgage on one of the properties.
As long as you got the judgment of possession, you're okay. So, is the insurance in the name of the estate, or is it of your deceased parent?
The deceased mother.
Okay. Well, just file the claim and see if they give you a problem. A lot of times during Katrina, we had that situation and it wasn't an issue. Sometimes it was. Okay. So just file the claim. If it's an issue and they deny, I would go to an attorney. If, a lot of times they may just go ahead and deal with the claim.
Okay. Now, if they issue it in her name, can I put, I have a joint account.
I'm going to tell you this. If they agree to pay and they issue in her name, I would open up an estate account. You have to get a tax ID number. Who's your attorney? Whoever's your succession attorney can get you a tax ID number for an estate account, and they can open it up. Some attorneys could also, open up their own trust account for an estate account. So either way, so just account for the proceeds, because a lot of times with insurance proceeds, we had a lot of issues regarding Katrina, where a lot of siblings wanted an accounting of, what the proceeds were used for. So, like, for example, if you put a blue tarp and you do some mitigation work, or, you employ a roofing expert or something, just keep track of all those expenses so you can, tell your, the other heirs that, give an accounting to them as to why you spent that money in that way.
There are no other heirs. Thank goodness. No other heirs.
Okay. Well, then you're cool with that. So you only have to do an accounting to yourself.
Mike's next.
Okay. Thanks for the call. Let's go to Mike. Mike, how can we help you?
Hey. First, go Tigers, right?
Oh, go Tigers. Well, hey, I'll give you a quick analysis. No line. Where were the linebackers? They were outcoached, outplayed. The X factor with, Hurricane Ida and the moves, I think, affected them. And, they were just outcoached. And the other thing, too, is Max Johnson's going to have some growing pains. And last night he did some really good things, and last night he didn't do so good things. But, Joe Burrow had the same growing pains his first year. So we're going to have to just deal with that. All right, let's go to Hurricanes.
Well, okay, here's what
Liz will be next.
Some storm back. I can't remember which one. We got enough rain that we took water in, I guess, under the slab or something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only room that it affected was a sunken living room. And when I say sunken, it's only sunken lower than the rest of the house by maybe 10 inches.
Where did the water come from? Was it flood or was it wind-driven rain?
No. Just the rainfall, just the amount of rain.
Okay, because generally, I just want to say,
anyway,
I'm just going to interrupt you for a second. If the water comes from up top to the bottom, it's your wind coverage. If the water comes from the ground up, that's flood coverage. Okay, continue.
Well, what I'm trying to ask is that the insurance company seemed to want to say it wasn't covered because the room was a basement and not a regular room.
How far is it sunken?
That sounds
like 12 inches?
10 inches, 12 inches, right.
No, that's ridiculous.
It's not like it's underneath of the house.
That's ridiculous. Ask them where the bathroom is in the basement. That's ridiculous. Okay, you tell them that no, that's not a basement. No, and you're not accepting that. Just no, absolutely not.
And
that's
then
ridiculous.
We'll see you in court, or
if they don't come to their senses, you would. Look, there's a couple of things that New Orleans doesn't have: snow trucks and basements. All right. So all right. There you go.
Pretty well answers it then.
All right, man.
Appreciate it, Doug.
Okay, let's go to Liz. Liz, how can we help you?
Oh, hi. I just wanted to say something about
Elaine is next.
The guy who called who has rock and roll in the restaurant.
Yes.
The fact that he keeps his employees taken care of during this time is number one and A+. And when you go into his establishments, his employees treat people really well. and it shows. He hires first-class people, and I love his businesses, and I hope he can make it and come back.
Well, I think John is part of the cultural economy of New Orleans. And, you know, we don't have oil and gas. We got a good medical community since Katrina with the VA and the University Hospital. But, you know, unfortunately, in the last 40 years, you know, our city has not grown economically. When the Saints came here in 1967, I think we were the 16th or 17th largest market. Now we're in the 40s. If we wanted a new team and we didn't have one, we wouldn't get one because they'd say we're too small. So we need our cultural economy back. And I think also I wanted to bring, you know, John's been texting me back and forth. I wanted to bring him on to show, you know, some of the businesses with the civil authority issue as to, you know, that would be billions of dollars that come in if civil authority is required, is activated in these policies, and these business interruption policies would pay these businesses to help them get back on their feet. And I wanted to illustrate in a real way, you know, the dilemmas that John was facing with COVID starting back up, then the hurricane, and the possibility of not getting his business interruption policy at first, and that what the theory is to overcome the anticipated denials by the insurance companies on civil authority and our argument for de facto civil authority. I'm sorry, continue.
And I'm glad you did. I work in the hospital industry, and I can see that my hospital is doing right by us. And it's the businesses that the owners, the people who run these things that are doing right for their people. It's going to bring our city back.
Well, part of doing right is these businesses paid a premium to protect themselves from this type of problem so that they could keep their employees intact, so they could repair their businesses. Also, that they could get the lost profits while they're down. And so it's going to be very hotly contested for businesses on getting the full extent, because there's going to be not only the issues I spoke about. They're going to say they want, if they do pay business interruption, they're only going to want to pay it for a limited time, because they're going to look at it aesthetically and say, this is how long it's going to take to restore your business, and we're only going to pay you that period. But you have supply disruptions, you have worker shortages, you have maybe some city services that's not going to be available to you. So there's going to be a fight over the duration of business interruption, insurance. Like, if you have a car dealership or you have a business like John's, that could be the difference between getting $100,000 in and $500,000 in to restore your business. And I'm just throwing these numbers out. So, yeah, and you're right.
Companies have it. They have it to pay, and that's why we pay policies.
That's right. And, John's place is one of those places when you have Brad Pitt or some of these celebrities, that's where they go. They're thinking this is the coolest place, to go, just much like Preservation Hall, your French Quarter. I mean, this is the essence of New Orleans. And, a lot of these insurance companies, if we can get them to pay, then we can maintain what makes New Orleans great. We can maintain this cultural economy. We can maintain the uniqueness of which makes New Orleans is the greatest tourist destination in North America, period. So, we need to be all hands on deck to preserve this cultural economy, and, places like John and all the great places that just are, just great music, great food. And I will tell you this, when I was in the NFL, they can't do this and they won't do this. But if you ask all the executives, where would they want a Super Bowl every year? They would say, we wish we could have it in New Orleans every year. That is the best place. It's compact. It's got a great cultural economy, great music, great food. And, we don't even have to rent a car. Everything's within walking distance. So we have to maintain that. And part of that is getting that insurance money in to subsidize businesses to get them back on their feet. All right, Liz,
Elaine.
Thanks for the call. Let's go to Elaine. Hey, Elaine, how can we help you?
Hi. Oh, you don't have to help me. I just want to tell you something. Piggly Wiggly is a great organization. They're down in the West Bank. They open for everything. They hired about 50 people to keep this going yesterday. Okay?
Yes.
And they got us going around here, but they don't have help for the elderly people in Wagaman. They're just sitting in their houses suffocating.
Yeah.
So nobody has come around to help the people there. They need They need to bring some of those big vans down there because they don't have cars and nothing. And these elderly people are suffering. No phones, no nothing. Can't get out. Can't get ice, can't nothing.
All right. What kind of help you think they need specifically?
Yeah.
Immediate.
Well, okay.
Patrice
They got
next.
firehouses down there. They got gyms. They need plenty of water, plenty of ice. We can't even get a whole ice down here because they don't have no transportation to go get it. If you try to go get it for them, like I try, they won't give you but 2.
Okay.
So you don't have enough ice.
Okay.
We need ice. We need water. Anything they can do for the people down
Okay.
here.
Can I do this? Can you give out your phone number so if anybody wanted to volunteer, they could call you and you can direct?
Sure. Please, please, please. 504-400-8954.
And what is your name?
Elaine Carrier.
Okay, Elaine.
I'm
So
very
just
much
ask.
I've been here 50 years.
Okay, what I'm going to do is we're going to give you out your phone number one more time, and anyone who's listening who wants to volunteer for ice supplies, for what part of town are you in?
We in Waggaman,
In Waggaman,
Louisiana,
okay.
and that's right past Avenue.
Yeah. Okay, so anybody who can help, call Elaine at. Give your phone number again.
504-400-8954.
Okay, Elaine. Thanks for the info. Who do we have next?
Patrice.
Patrice. How can we help you?
Hey, darling, how you doing?
Hey, sweetheart.
I was trying to find out.
Remember, the governor could happen at any second.
Yes.
FEMA number recently today, and they were telling me that I'm pending because they needed proof of my light bill. I said, what? I'm like, I thought the president said that everybody was getting funded and
Jeff would be
had
next.
to be registered. What a light bill coming in at?
Okay, you got 2 choices. You could either fight the federal government, which you don't normally win at, or get them the light bill. Right or wrong? The federal government is known, I'm going to tell you, federal government is known for asking things in a duplicative manner, in a redundant manner. When we file certifications for contractors to have certain type of certifications, a lot of times they ask us the same thing 5 times and we produce it to them 5 times. I came to the conclusion early in my career, it's easier to give it to them again rather than argue about the fallacy of why they're asking for it again. Because they're the federal government, and to fight them is too much. So my advice is just do it, even though it's redundant. Okay? Okay, thanks for the call. Let's go. Before we go to Jeff, the governor may break in at any time for a press conference. So as soon as I get the word that he's starting this press conference, we're going to break away from here, listen to his press conference, and we'll return to finish the show. Okay, let's go to Jeff. Jeff, how can we help
Hello,
you?
Doug. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you good, brother. What you got for us?
Okay. I got a quick and simple
Ray's next.
one for you, real quick.
Okay.
I have a USAA renter's policy.
Mm-hmm.
And I read it, it's been over a year ago. And, a lot of it I forgot about. The only thing I remembered was the property and personal property in my apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't recall loss of use until I got back home in town.
Sure.
And read the policy. So when I left here last Sunday morning, I took $1,000 in cash with me, and because nobody was taking any credit cards at gas stations, restaurants, or food stores around here. So I'm in Mandeville.
Right.
And so I went to Houston, and I stayed in a hotel there for 6 nights. I had to gas up and eat. And when I came back home yesterday and the power was on and it was livable again, and the water was on, I checked and I called my brother and I said, I just spent almost $800
right
on this.
That's what
this
your policy's
hurricane.
for. That's what your policy's for.
But
You get it back.
Here's the problem I have, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
Since I was paying cash and I forgot about the loss of use in the policy,
Okay. I got an easy
threw
fix.
away my receipt. I
got an easy
don't
fix.
have any of my receipt.
You could
Go
either
ahead.
put it in the affidavit, in a sworn affidavit, and go get it
Okay.
notarized. And so what you're saying is, I incurred this, And if I'm not, I committed, perjury under,
Right.
false statement document. And, just basically the affidavit state that, when you have a hurricane, it's not foremost in your mind on, hey, it's a hurricane coming on evacuation. I may be scrutinized in 3 years in a lawsuit on how to prove these damages. That's not what's going through your mind. So just do the next best thing, get an affidavit. And if anybody was with you, have them concur in that affidavit.
Okay, well, I'm going to call. They're closed now, but tomorrow morning I'm going to call and file a claim.
Yeah, it may not be a problem.
Ask for that?
No, it may not be a problem. Just give them the expenses. If they pay it, then they pay it. If they ask for more proof, then put it in affidavit form.
I got you. Thanks a lot. I told you it would be easy.
All right, brother. Good luck to you. Be blessed. All right, let's go to Ray. Ray, how can we help you?
Mr. Sunseri, thanks for taking my call. I'm a nurse practitioner. My father-in-law has early onset dementia.
Yes.
And his second wife does not allow my wife or I to call the house or see about him. And if we do, she makes life very difficult.
Is she the agent? Is she the agent for the power of attorney?
She's his second wife.
Okay,
yeah, I think she has medical power of attorney. If I'm not sure.
Okay, my
point is, we're looking at dementia. It looks like he's got COVID, and she's not taking him to the doctor.
Okay, let me tell you something. I got bad news for you. The court's not going to be open anytime soon. Typically, what you would do is if there's a power of attorney and she's not taking care of your father, you'd file for an interdiction proceeding, or at least get a temporary.
We have a judge that's a family friend. We got a judge. What is it called?
It's called an interdiction. INTERDICTION. Interdiction is the same thing as a conservatorship, like with Britney Spears. It's the same concept. Now, but the problem is you don't have a court open, and they're not taking these type of.
I can get a judge. We know a judge.
No, you can't do it that way. You got to file a formal proceeding. Okay, you can't call up a judge and say issue an order.
She can help us do that.
Who's that? You got to hire an attorney.
It's a friend.
And you would do is you do a temporary interdiction, asking for the judge to order that this, whoever, your father, whoever, to get immediate health care.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a healthcare issue.
I understand. And what I'm saying is I'm talking about your relief. Okay. Your relief is you have to file an interdiction, INTERDICTION proceeding. Now there's various types, but for some temporary relief. Now it's going to cost a few bucks.
I think he's got COVID.
All right. Well,
we have lawyers in the family, and it doesn't matter what price is.
Well,
we got to do something before he gets killed.
I normally say if you got that many lawyers in your family, I'd say God bless you. But in this case, it'll be good. So you can have them help you file a temporary interdiction to get them some medical care. Okay.
Okay. And how long does it take to file one?
Well, as long as the lawyer could do it. If I have all the information, it would take me about a day.
All right. Can you? Well, give me your information.
Well,
I'll find out what it is. I'll contact.
Well, just Google me and I'll pop up. I don't want to give out my information now just because it's WWL. Okay, let's go. Who do we have next?
Your guest, Eric White.
Okay. When are we going to news? How far we got?
2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes. Let me bring Eric up for about 2 minutes, and then we got to go to news. Hey, Eric. Thanks for joining us. You there?
Yeah, Doug, I'm here.
Okay, Eric. Why don't you tell people after the news? We're going to have you discuss the roofing issues because that's one of the big issues that we're going to have in this wind event. Just tell us a little bit about you and tell us, what someone like you can do to help the homeowner get the full value of their claim, especially when it comes to roofs.
Absolutely, Doug. Thank you for having me on. Basically, I have about 25 years experience in the roofing industry. I've been expert witness testimony in both the city of New Orleans and the Jefferson Parish. I've done several depositions for cases concerning roofing. So I'm more than happy to help anybody that needs help with dealing with insurance. or doing reports or doing damage assessments.
And
those are the ways I can actually help.
And what does a roofing expert at this point, be it you or someone else, how are they helpful, or what's some of the information they can give to the homeowners to help collect the full extent of their damages? We got about a minute left before we go to news, but you can give them a little elevator speech on that.
The biggest thing is help educate just help the homeowners educate themselves to become aware of how roofing should be going on and what constitutes damage.
Now, real quick, what are some of the issues, just, in a couple, bullet points, some of the issues with roofs that you anticipate having with Hurricane Ida?
What you're going to have on shingles, you're going to have wind uplift as far as the shingle cabs themselves to make sure that even though they look flat now, they may be creased. So that's a damage. You want to get up there and take a look at it. Also, let me say that make sure you take photographs of all your roof areas before you tarp.
Also take photographs of all the shingles in your lawn and the surrounding area too. Okay, Eric, we're going to hold you over through news, national and local news, and anybody who wants to call about specific roofing issues, this is your time because he'll answer your questions. So this is Attorney Doug Sunseri, part of the continuous coverage of the recovery from Hurricane Ida. And on the Odyssey family of stations, we'll be back in about 8 minutes. So stay tuned for Eric White and his roofing analysis, and he can help you. Eric, can you hear me?
The aftermath of Ida on 870 AM WWL New Orleans, 105.3 WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, WLMG and WLMG HD1 New Orleans, WKBU and WKBU HD1 New Orleans, and WEZB and WEZB HD1 New Orleans. Odyssey stations.
WWL First News, it's 1 o'clock. I'm Chris Miller on your official weather station, WWL, AM, FM, and .com. 90 degrees, feels like 101 in New Orleans. Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards is wrapping up an inspection of Hurricane Ida damage in St. James and Assumption parishes, and will speak live shortly. Keep it locked here for live coverage.
We continue to watch an area of concern over the Yucatan, and it is expected to lift northward into the Gulf of Mexico. It could develop some, but wind shear and dry air will be working against it. It could potentially be a rainmaker for portions along the Gulf Coast. We'll continue to watch it.
WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan keeping an eye on an area of disturbance in the tropics, but it only has a 30% chance of development over the next 5 days. A little closer to home.
Well, today will be a mostly sunny day across southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi, but it is going to be hot. Forecast high climbing into the lower 90s, but you'll notice drier air still hanging around, all thanks to that weak boundary. So we will be looking at lower humidity values through the day, but a heat advisory goes into effect this morning, lasting into the early evening hours, meaning many areas will feel like the triple digits, so make sure you're staying careful while you're out and about.
The local weather expert forecast is a few minutes away. More on that system the National Hurricane Center is tracking. Forecasters say it's too early to know how strong it will get and if it will threaten Louisiana. It could mean rain for the area, too. WWL's Dave Cohen reports.
Governor John Bel Edwards says we don't need any more tropical trouble here.
How do we respond as a state, working with our federal partners, working with all of our locals, to another hurricane while we are in our current posture, still responding to, not yet recovering from, but just responding to the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Ida. And let me tell you, that's almost more than you can contemplate.
And he says in the middle of a pandemic.
And how do you do all this and continue to test for COVID and do the monoclonal antibody infusions and all? My head's getting painful just thinking about it.
We'll know more by Monday if the system looks like it's going to develop and where it's going to go.
Louisiana Health Officer Dr. Joe Cantor has shut down 7 nursing homes in Jefferson, New Orleans, Lafourche, and Terrebonne. WWL TV's Devin Bartolotta tells us it comes after 7 patients died after the owner evacuated more than 800 residents to Independence, Louisiana.
Residents were crammed into a warehouse for the storm. Conditions got bad fast. Photos inside show cots wedged in close and mattresses on the floor, and the building began to flood.
It was trash, full of urine and feces all stacked in a corner, and the place just smelled horrible.
And what signs of distress did you see with patients?
Some were hollering, they were in pain, they were hungry, they were thirsty.
The Department of Health was turned away when trying to investigate, and the warehouse was evacuated Wednesday.
In addition to 7 patients dying, another dozen residents were hospitalized, according to the last report. In hard-hit St. Charles Parish, President Matt Jewell says he's been constantly on the phone with Entergy, urging them to not only send more power restoration workers, but also to help clean up.
We're asking them to get these poles off the streets so that we can start getting our people in and out of neighborhoods and back to work and back to this recovery process.
Jewell says there are more than 2,500 down power lines just in St. Charles Parish. Entergy says it has restored more than a third of all outages, with most areas getting their power back in the next 4 days. Those closer to the coast or along the path of the center of Ida will be taking longer. The hardest hit areas may not have restoration until the end of the month. Just over 500,000 Entergy customers affected by outages right now. And Entergy acknowledges that the outage map on its website is not always accurate in every neighborhood. CLECO, meanwhile, says it has restored more than 80% of its St. Tammany Parish customers.
CBS News Brief. The damage is extensive after the remnants of Ida brought tornadoes and flooding to the Northeast. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy appeared on CBS's Face the Nation.
There is a significant loss associated with this storm. We'll do all that we can in the state, but we need the federal government in a big way.
Also on Face the Nation, President Biden's chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, spoke about the rollout of COVID booster shots later this month.
If you get the level of antibody high enough, which boosters actually do, then you can feel pretty confident that you're going to be protected against virtually any variant.
The Biden administration has set September 20th as the date boosters should begin to be available. UN Special Envoy Gordon Brown says rich countries need to share their vaccine doses with poorer countries.
It's in everybody's interest that people are vaccinated in every continent, because clearly nobody is safe until everybody is safe.
CBS News Brief, I'm Wendy Gillette.
The National Guard has set up a temporary bridge in Lafitte after the Leo Kerner Bridge was made impassable because of Hurricane Ida. WWL's Matt Doyle reports.
That's the sound of National Guard engineers maneuvering the floating pieces of the temporary bridge into place.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
A loose barge.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give Erica some brief explanation, but if anybody's calling, we'll keep Eric on to let them ask Eric about roof issues.
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
Called the construction incredible. Matt Doyle, WWL First News.
A dolphin that got stuck in a Slidell retention pond will be released into the wild after the successful completion of Operation Flipper. St. Tammany Parish Sheriff Randy Smith told WWL-TV that Flipper appears to be in decent health and is glad he'll be released back into the Gulf.
We had a lot of calls of people in this area concerned about the dolphin. The dolphin apparently got in here when the waters were high, and we've been kind of coordinate with them an operation to have him rescued so we can calm our citizens down here in the area.
Callers to WWL reported the dolphin shortly after the hurricane blew through. WWL Sports.
After finishing off the season with 2 straight wins, the LSU Tigers went into the Rose Bowl trying to bring that momentum against UCLA. But their season started just like last season. The LSU defense gave up big play after big play in their 38-27 defeat on Saturday night.
Single back in Charbonnet, left side of Thompson Robinson. Again, a high snap. He fields it. Slings it down the middle of the field. Catch going to be made. Hauled in inside the 25 is Kyle Phillips. Breaks a tackle at the 15 and down the near sideline. Finds himself in the end zone. And UCLA makes it 37-20.
The LSU defense allowed 16 yards per pass against Bruins quarterback Dorian Thompson. The LSU Tigers will head back to Baton Rouge to take on McNeese State next Saturday. Tim Zimmer, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Well, today's going to be a hot day across southeast Louisiana, featuring plenty of sunshine, but drier air still in the area, keeping our humidity values in check, but we still have just enough humidity for our feels-like temperatures to feel like the triple digits. Heat advisory will be in effect today, so make sure you're staying careful while you're outside. Many of us are still without power. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Tomorrow is Labor Day. It looks like the rain chances will be bumped up just a bit, so watch out for scattered showers and isolated downpours. Temperatures will climb into the lower 90s. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
It's 90 degrees at Armstrong New Orleans International. Heat index has come down to 99, 91 north of the lake. Feels like 97. I'm Chris Miller, WWL First News.
On WWL-AM-FM.com and the Odyssey app, Louisiana's official emergency management station, it's continuing coverage of the aftermath of Ida. Live from our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios. Also on Magic 101.9, Bayou 95.7, and B97. Connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. Back to Team WWL.
Hey, we're back. Attorney Doug Sunseri, part of the continuous coverage of recovery for Hurricane Ida on an Odyssey family of radio stations. We have call us about your insurance questions. Hurricane Ida claims will help you point you in the right direction. Governor John Edwards is supposed to have a press conference at any time. So when the press conference starts, we're going to cut away, go to the press conference, and we'll finish up. If there's time left, we'll be on till 3 o'clock. So, we may have to cut away in the middle of a call or right away. If that happens, I'm just giving, just let you know what's happening. All right. Before end of the hour, last time I brought on Eric White, who's a roofing consultant, and he's going to give information to homeowners on helping to get their roof repaired and get the full extent of their damages. And I learned this in Katrina, that, one of the first houses we had were in Lakeview. We had 3 or 4 adjusters come out to a house, and they said, no, you just need a patch. No, you just need a few shingles fixed. And then we kept asking for readjustments, and we had a roofing contractor who happened to be a claims adjuster who retired and became a claims adjuster. He was tired of hopping on hot roofs in the middle of August. And he said, he became a claims adjuster. And he said, he had told me, and this is anecdotal, this is his opinion, but I think it does apply to many of the houses here. He said, if you have 90-mile-an-hour winds for more than 5 minutes, most roofs can't survive that. But a lot of insurance companies are going to start off with replacing shingles. 1/4 of the roof may be replaced, 1/2 and 3/4. As I stated, earlier, I think given this wind event, I think most roofs are, either need to be replaced or need to be replaced. There's no in between. You're either pregnant or not pregnant. And so I think this is the same type of analogy, that most of these roofs need to be replaced. You still have to do independent analysis to verify that with people like Eric and, his peers. But generally, I think once you verify that, you have to fight. You have to be, and when I mean fight, advocate. Advocate for your position and don't take no for an answer. Okay, Eric, you there for us?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Roofing consultant. Let me ask you something quickly. How do you survive being on a roof at 110 degrees in August?
I think most of it, you get used to it.
You get used to it. All right.
Like hydration, man. And you got to hydrate before you get out there. You can't do it after it's too late.
Great advice. All right. Let me ask you this first. We're just gonna sort of bullet point a lot of these points. How do you determine whether a roof is damaged or not? And what is the process that a roofing consultant or a claims adjuster does to analyze that? Whether a roof is, irreparably damaged, needs to be replaced or not.
This is typically what I do and look at.
When the governor comes, toss it to Dave, and he'll toss it to the governor.
Some of them have some experience with construction. Some of them don't. So you have to make sure that you get a qualified Louisiana license, and repeat that, a Louisiana licensed contractor to look at your roof for you. And that's one way I can help too, because I know a slew of contractors that I can recommend. With that said, typically we take a 10 by 10 area and see if there's shingles lifted. You take the worst area that you got shingles missing, check the rest of the shingles within a 10 by 10 area to see if they've been lifted and that seal tab has been broken. If that seal tab has been broken, then you want to look to see if there's creases in that shingle where it's been racked back and forth from the wind. If you see creases, it means it's been 9 degrees turned up, and that's a damaged shingle. You want to do that in all four sides of your roof, north, east, west, and south side. And that's kind of how a lot of people determine what's damaged and what's replaceable.
Now, let's talk a little bit about, I'm going to get you to go to the basics. Tell us what a seal tab roof is and what its function and how does it protect you from wind intrusion, water, and environment.
Sure. A seal tab roof basically is a water shedding system, not a waterproofing system, it's water shedding. So it's important that those seal tabs have been sealed. Sometimes, during the wintertime, you got to make sure that those seal tabs get hot enough to seal down. Up north, they actually sometimes have to put cement, some kind of contact to make sure they seal. So sometimes as they heat up, they melt together and make that seal. So it's a water shedding system, not a waterproofing. So when you got those loose tabs, water can definitely, from a wind event, go in and cause a leak to happen.
Now, as far as claims adjusters, a lot of them have a different range of experience. Some of them could have been roofing contractors for 30 years. Some of them could have been blackjack dealers 4 weeks ago, and everything in between. If you're a homeowner, how do you evaluate whether a claims adjuster is really going to do the requisite analysis to determine whether your roof needs to be replaced or not?
Well, in my opinion, as a homeowner in my home, I'm not going to leave it up to claims adjuster to do the investigative. I'm going to get my contractor out there to take a look at the roof.
Jill on line one.
That's qualified to go up there and take a look at the roof to see what kind of damage I have. So that way we present the information to the claims adjuster, say, hey, here's our claim. This is the damage. Here's the pictures. You're absolutely. I would love for you to go, look at it and make sure that what we're saying is true, and hopefully that they'll take that information and make the claim and be done.
What type of qualifications does someone need in order to make that opinion of causation? What type of experience?
I think anyone that's in the roofing industry, a licensed contractor would definitely be. They've looked at enough roofs over the years to know what damage is and what damage isn't, based on their own experiences.
Okay. We got a phone call. Let's go to Jill. Jill, how can we help you?
Yes, hi. I was a victim of
Judy is next.
I have a big insurance company, and they're sending me an adjuster. They outsourced it to an adjusting company in Virginia, and I'm not quite sure that he's going to be familiar with the kind of roof and the type of damage that happens here. I mean, I live in Forest Brook, and I have shingles all over the yard. We have a 12-on-12 pitch. I know once, because the roof was replaced after Katrina, and I know that once the seals are compromised, that the roof needs to be replaced. But I know that he's going to look at it and see some hips and some ridges and some things and try to piecemeal it together. Well, it's a $400,000 house. I don't want that. And I know that that's what he's going to try and do. But I think by listening to your show, it answered a lot of questions. I need to get a roofing contractor out here prior to the adjuster so I can tell him what's already been determined. And hopefully, if he's qualified and knows what he's doing and doesn't want to get on that 12-on-12 pitch, he might want to take what I'm saying and write it up as a loss.
Okay, first of all,
but
Jill.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Am I on track?
Jill, first of all, it's a brilliant analysis. Very, very thoughtful and brilliant analysis, number one. Number two, when I argued in front of the juries about seal tab, I said, what is it good to have unsealed seal tab shingles? I mean, you think about that phrase, and that's a self-defeating proposition. And Eric, I'm going to throw it to you. What advice do you have for Jill in addition to what she said?
No, Jill is 100% on. She needs to get someone out there, and it's well worth it. Even if you're going to pay someone to go up there and do an inspection for you, the local contractor, to make it worth his time. So that way you can have the pictures and the evidence to show that, hey, I have a loss, and I'm not going to settle for just a patch on this roof. It's a $400,000 home. In addition to that, you have aesthetic issues as well, as far as the rest of your house. You pay a lot of money. A lot of people under stress. There's a lot of stress right now. They're making important decisions, and it's a shame that we have to do this under stress, but we have to. So I want people to take a breath make sure they're making a correct one and don't have a long-term effect of a bad decision.
And let me add the cost.
Right on.
Let me add this: the cost of the expert to go up there, you can get reimbursed from the insurance claim because they're defining the scope of damage. They're determining causation and defining the scope. So if he charges you X amount of money for this analysis, that is part of your insurance claim. Submit it, and they should reimburse you for it. All right, you got anything else for us, Jill? All right, thanks for the call. Let's go to Judy. Judy, you're on with Doug Sunseri and Eric White, roofing expert. How can we help you?
Well, I bought my house precisely 1 month before Ida came.
Susie next.
And it had inspected very well. We knew it was a replacement from Katrina, and it is a seal tab. And so a tree fell on my house in the first part of the storm over the porch. And it has gable in the bulk of the house, and then the rest of it, I can't even think of the term for it, but nonetheless, it's not gable on the back. The back two rooms are different. It has a peak and, 4 different planes. But anyway, so the gables are on the sides, and you have a front and a back. And so the whole front was getting rubbed by the branches of this tree until the rest of the tree flipped it over and took it over to the neighbor's car. And so I had maybe an hour or two, I started having drips in the living room and the bedroom. And my attic has that blown insulation. And of course the lights were out, so I did not go up there. And my question is, I got somebody to patch it real quick to stop the bleeding, because as of right now, the ceilings in 2 rooms are discolored, but they're not, bulging and looking like they have to be taken out. And so they did that, and then just today, the person to put the tarp on top of that came out. So I had that done to stop the bleeding. But when the roofer was up there doing the patch, he said, you need a whole new roof.
Okay.
And I'm like the previous caller, I think they're going to say, oh, no, we only have to fix the front.
Advocate, and get that opinion in writing. Get that opinion in writing from your roofer. Okay, very important.
Okay, I have one more question though, because of all this blown insulation, which makes it where you can't even see what's going on with the rafters and the ceiling joists and all that.
Eric, I'm throwing it to you. What you got?
Is the water going through that and coming through the ceiling hazardous to my health?
Well, I mean, if you got mold, they definitely can. And every individual is different. I'm not a mold expert by no means, nor am I a healthcare professional. But I do know from just experience that different people have different reactions to different environments. So definitely it could, definitely possible. Will it? I know that I can't determine.
I mean, obviously, if you have respiratory issues, it's a larger concern. And we all agree that mold's not helpful for you. So, it takes, but basically that's a lot of times you don't have any other choices. I mean, you don't have any else
I believe
to say.
as far as the foam, yeah.
So
as far as the foam itself, no, it shouldn't be.
All right.
Well, that's my concern, because that's a synthetic, some kind of chemical thing. And so I didn't know if that would deteriorate the water going through it.
That's someone that more expertise than me to look at that, but a quality expert,
Susie
like
next,
Paul or somebody. Okay. But I will say this: that if it's installed properly, just because it's wet, I understand that should not affect you.
Okay, all right, Judy. Thanks for the call. Let's go to Susie. Hey, Susie, you on with Doug Sunseri?
Hey.
And what you got for us?
Hey, I just recently, beginning of this year, got a new roof. And during the storm,
Becky is next.
My awning, my carport awning, and my porch awning tore off from the house and blew across the top of the roof and damaged the turbine. And all my faucet with the front is exposed, and the shingles are all damaged. Will my adjuster say I just need that patched, or what?
Eric?
I would say definitely, again, you need to get someone up there to take a look at the extent of the damage. And typically we take that 10 by 10 area of the worst part of that roof as a basis to see how much damage is on there. And if it's more than, in my opinion, more than 30%, it's a replacement. Insurance company may more than 50%. each adjuster and each insurance company is going to want to put their own, I guess, specifics on that policy or whatever it says to replace that roof. But my opinion that things are blown off. If it's knocked a lot of granules off from things skirting across the roof, it knocked a lot of
Becky
granules
next.
off. That's a problem. I consider that damage. That's a ding in there, just like hail damage. No different. You're losing granules, and you lose it. You shorten the life of that particular shingle, and you potentially have a leak intrusion.
All right, Susie, thanks for calling. We got Becky next. I want you to give me about a 30-second response to this. Is there anything that needs to be done or made sure when you put a blue tarp from your perspective on a patch job?
Yeah, again, I'm listening to like the lady who had the shingles fixed or repaired. I don't know exactly what kind of repair they did, but I mean, it's so important to make sure you take photographic evidence to support your claim of the damage. You especially do not want to take a small damaged area and tarp the whole roof and put a bunch of nails through it, because they're not going to be happy about that. Number one, you're going to have a roofer there to remove it if you don't have any photographs, so they can be put back. If they don't see the damage, they don't like putting a lot of nails, because now you've damaged the roof, beyond repair. Depending on the adjuster, they may take offense to that, but sometimes they don't. They'll give it the roof. But make sure you're just covering what the damage area is to mitigate the damages, not nail a bunch of nails through the whole roof with a tarp. But take pictures. That's your best recourse to show what happened when it happened.
Well, and two, homeowner's not going to get on the roof. Please don't. But get your roofer to take pictures. Your roofing expert or consultant. Okay, let's go to.
Yeah, and your local contractors should be taking pictures, and most of them will be taking pictures of the evidence before they cover it up.
Okay. Good deal. Okay, let's go to Becky. Hey, Becky, you on with Attorney Doug Sunseri and roofing expert Eric White. How can we help you?
After this, can we go to a break?
Yes.
Okay. My house is in Slidell. I'm 70. I've been there, 50, it's paid for is my point. Okay. And I live on Social Security. So I went home to check my house because I left. I walked around the outside of my house and did not see any shingles and nothing missing. To me, that don't mean a whole lot. I mean, it means something, and thank God. But now the roof was put on right after Katrina knew, okay? But I can't physically go up there and check anything, and I can't pay anybody to do it. Is there any outlet or somewhere that I can turn to get somebody just to check it for me?
I personally, I don't know of any volunteer services. You may have someone who knows like a handyman service that's a friend of the family or a friend of yours, or someone that can go up there and just to check. And again, it's not rocket science. You're basically going to take and lift the shingle up to see if it's still stuck or is it loose. Is it just flapping there? And you want to check to see if there's a crease. You can do a lot of investigate online. There's a lot of photographs that show you what a damaged shingle looks like. So you can have a family friend, anyone go up there and take those pictures to show the damage as it occurred.
All right.
I mean, at my age, my friends are my age.
No, well, you got. Do you have children and grandchildren? They got friends. All right. Thanks for the call. We're going to go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Eric White we're here with you through it all. Call us or text us at 504-260-1870. We're part of the continuous coverage of recovery for Hurricane Ida on the Odyssey stations. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
Northern Tool and Equipment is open and ready to help.
Hey, George.
Stop in for generators, water pumps, fans, power tools, scaffolding, and more. Supplies are limited. Find us at 6851 Veterans Memorial Boulevard or Homa at 1548 Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
If you're a State Farm customer affected by the recent hurricane and need to submit a claim,
Doug, I did that early just so in case the governor pops on.
Okay, download the State Farm mobile app.
Do y'all have
contact your local State Farm agent with one of the industry's
number?
largest catastrophe response teams. State Farm and your agent are ready to help.
Number?
Go to statefarm.com.
Sure, it's 251
like a good neighbor.
709-1067.
I might just text you something just to give you information.
After the storm is over,
so
if you think you have wind damage or missing roofing, siding, and gutters, call Vinyl Tech. They have a AAA rating with the BBB, so you know they can be trusted. Vinyl Tech has been serving the New Orleans Metro for over 20 years. They are the local exterior specialist.
Hi, this is Shay Mulkey of Vinyl Tech. Let us work with you to get your home looking brand new again. I guarantee you will be satisfied. Call me, Shay Mulkey, at Vinyltech, 504-469-7590, and online at vinyltechnola.com.
This is an important message from Entergy. As we work to restore your service, please make safety your top priority. Portable generators should never be connected directly to a home's wiring, as this could send electricity back into the power lines where Entergy crews are working. For more information on generator safety, download the free Entergy app or visit EnergyStormCenter.com.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 130 hopes that this Labor Day you and your loved ones are safe and healthy. Keeping our members and their families safe is a priority at IBEW. So let's all be safe by practicing social distancing, wearing a mask when necessary, and by all means, please get vaccinated. We all know that labor is what makes the country move even during these challenging times. And the members of IBEW Local 130 urge us to give praise to the backbone of this great nation, labor.
Although Hurricane Ida has come and gone, many in greater New Orleans and southeast Louisiana are still without power, without food and water, without air conditioning, some without homes. So WWL and our Odyssey family of stations are partnering with Second Harvest Food Bank to get help to those who need it most. Every dollar you donate will provide 4 disaster meals to aid families, friends, and neighbors in Louisiana. Can you help? Donate now at WWL.com or OdysseyCares.com.
This is Jared Freeman, President and CEO of OnPath Federal Credit Union. Hurricane Ida dealt us an extreme blow, but at OnPath, nothing is stopping us from serving our members. We're proud to say that we're open for business and so thankful for our employees who are working around the clock to ensure our members have access to their accounts and emergency funds. There will be many long days ahead, but today we are thankful. We're here to help. Go to beyondpath.org for more information or find us on Facebook, OnPath Federal Credit Union.
It's hurricane season. Don't get caught without power at your home or business. Get a Kubota or Quiet Power genset up to 150 kW. There are a limited number of generators in stock. Call 800-925-4966 for Gulf Engine or log on to golfengine.com.
Attention People's Health Plan members. We want you to get the care you need when and where you need it. People's Health is here for you with support for prescription refills at drugstores across the country. And no matter where you're located or what your situation, we have member services staff standing by to connect you to the help you need. Call 1-800-222-8600. That's 1-800-222-8600. TTY users may call 711. Visit peopleshealth.com to learn more.
Brandon Hawley here. Premium Windows. Professionally measured, professionally installed. ReliefWindows.com.
Do we have anybody
Back to
on?
coverage of the aftermath of Ida.
I'm sorry, what?
We have anybody?
WWL, the big 870 AM, 105.3 FM, WWL.com,
Steven.
the Odyssey app. Also on Magic 101.9, and then Vicky 95.7 and B97. Connect with us on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Attorney Doug Sunseri, part of the continuous coverage of recovery for Ida on the Odyssey family of stations. I'm here with Eric White, talking about roofing expert, talking about our insurance claims. First of all, I want to apologize to Becky because we're going to a hard break. And, you know, it's a lot of times when I'm going to a hard break, I may sound unempathetic. And, you know, I just try to get you information. So, Becky, I want to apologize to you. I didn't mean to be short with you. We're going to a break. And a lot of times what I want to do is give information so that you can exhaust your help. And a lot of times I do get calls from elderly people who have these type of issues, but they also have children and grandchildren, nieces and nephews who are available for help. And sometimes it doesn't hit them to ask them for the help. And all I was trying to get across is we know you can't get on a roof. And we know you can't do this. And all I want you to do, sweetheart, is just to exhaust your family, your friends, you know, nieces and nephews, grandchildren. And sometimes it's hard to do that. It's hard to ask people for help. And so all I wanted to do was just, you know, just encourage you to ask for help to deal with that. And, you know, when you got 10 seconds, you got to get in and out of a break. Sometimes I may sound unempathetic. I'm just, you know, trying to keep the show on schedule. So, you know, you may not have help. You may not be in that situation, but I just want you to consider that as a possible solution that we talked about. Okay, let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Steve.
Let me add too, Doug.
Yes.
May I add something to that?
Yes.
Let me add, you know, as a community, and one of the reasons I'm so grateful to have this opportunity is it's important to me because this is my community too. And as neighbors helping neighbors, I mean, you got to look out. I mean, we want to look out for our neighbors. If they're elderly, we want to ask questions. Do you need help? And those things, information come up. So I just want to put that out there as well.
Yeah. So, Becky, we just wish you Godspeed. God's going to get you through it. And, we just, and I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to give you my cell number, 504-957-5734, 504-957-5734. If you call me, I will try to get you help. Okay. All right. Let's go to Steve. Steve, how can we help you?
Hey, Doug. Listen, thank you so much for taking my call. And I wanted to tell you, I know Albert really well. I've listened to you guys, and he's a great attorney, but he's also a great chef. And I've been the benefit of many of his creations.
Vicky would be nice.
Absolutely. But listen, I got two things, if you don't mind. The first one has to do with out-of-state contractors. I work with my area representative, and I have a friend who's a contractor over in Mississippi. And she said, and he's in the application process, that there's a reciprocity, a licensing reciprocity, and he has to file that with, I guess, the Insurance Commission, and he has to file with the state. But by the end of next week or the week after, he will have documentation of reciprocity for license. And I know it's the contractor that's responsible for doing that, but so there is a way that if you do have an out-of-state contractor, I think you're the expert here, that there is license reciprocity, and so I may be using him, but I just wanted to kind of share that comment to begin with.
There is.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
The only downside is if there's a problem later and they're out the state, you might have a hard time as far as, an enforcement issue. In other words, come back.
Warranty stuff, yes.
Yeah. Eric, what do you see in that situation? Pros and cons.
Look, there's a lot of damage. We got 27,000 licensed contractors in the state of Louisiana. And absolutely, there are contractors. And part of those 27,000 are other contractors from different parts of the country that have licenses here. That's not all just Louisiana licensed contractors. You have contractors because of Mississippi, Texas, and I think Alabama all do have reciprocation between each other and share those. But as long as you prove that you know what you're doing, it's perfectly fine. And again, if they team up with the local contractors, some of that can be resolved as well. But I would definitely make sure that they can service you after, or promise to service you, after the other issue, because there's so much going to be done. I don't care how good you are, you're going to have issues and problems, and you want someone here that's going to be able to respond to those issues and problems if they come up.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's a great point. Anyway, that was my first contact. My second one is I'm with USAA, and there was an adjuster out here Thursday morning. He already submitted his report to USAA. USAA has already cut my mortgage company a check, and they say they're sending us one. But I don't know that looking at what they've approved and what they've said they're going to do is going to be sufficient to actually complete the repairs in my house. And I'm wondering, is there a process that, even though they've already submitted a check to my mortgage holder, that, how do we manage an issue of saying, well, wait a minute, your materials estimate was way down, your labor costs were way down. There was other things that emerged after repairs began. It's going to be more expensive to bring things up to current code that they have to do. So I have no idea how to interface and interact with my mortgage company and the insurance company on resolving those kinds of issues.
Here, you raise a couple of great points that we're going to address. First of all, you can get your own estimate from a consultant or a contractor who's, it's best to be, if they were qualified by court, that would be the courts. And they're also have certain qualifications that would be the best. And if they could use the Xactimate program, the same programs the insurance companies use, that would be the ideal situation. If you call my cell phone, 504-957-5734, I could put you in touch with these type of contractors who can do these estimates. The second part is and I'm going to talk a little law.
Okay, listen, I'll just call. Brett is my attorney.
Call
with
Brett.
You guys.
Call Brett, and he'll do that. And And what I want to do is talk a little bit about the law. The insurance companies have a duty to pay what's not undisputed within 30 and 60-day periods. So, and that's the law. And if they don't do that, they could be liable for penalties and attorney's fees. And when you receive that unconditional tender, you're not prejudicing your rights to ask for more. So you take that money and you pocket it. And the concept is this. I'm going to try to explain it this way. If somebody owes you $10 and you collect $5 first, it's a lot easier to collect the remaining $5 than the entire $10 if they hold it back. And that's what the law says in for wind insurers. It doesn't apply to flood. Flood's a different ball game. And we hadn't got to that. We will get to it either on our show on Sunday mornings or we'll get to it today. Flood is, if you got flood, don't listen to this because this doesn't apply. But if you got wind coverage, you have a duty to pay what's undisputed within 30 and 60 days. There's 2 time periods with 2 different penalties. If they don't do that, they could be liable for penalties and attorney's fees. Now, sometimes the courts give them a little leeway due to these disasters, but, and if they have a reasonable explanation as to why not, then, the courts will cut them some slack. So you have to understand that the initial tender they make you, and we always get calls, can I cash the check? Absolutely, as long as you're not signing a receipt and release. Number 2, you have a right to bring in your own contractor, your own consultant. We're going to have Ken Savage on at 2:00 who does that. We had Kevin Manali yesterday who did that. Go to the podcast, and it's on there. And they could do their own estimate. So I'm going to make it very simplistic. Let's say USA or the insurer's estimate is $50,000. And then you get your guy to do an estimate that's $90,000. Ideally, it would be an Xactimate, the computer program the insurance companies use. And that your estimate includes supply disruptions, increased labor costs, and increased scope. Then, you could submit that estimate to USAA and the ball's in their court. And based on that information, they're going to have to decide on that new estimate, what do they not dispute? And whatever they don't dispute, they have to pay you. So in this case, let me say insurance companies estimates for $50,000. You get an estimate from your own consultant that's $90,000. And USAA evaluates that estimate and says, you know what? Based on this new information, we owe you $25 more. They have to pay that within 30 or 60 days or they could be penalized. Attorney's fees and also a penalty. So that's how you deal with this. You ask for a readjustment. Get your own information. Yeah. Also, the cost for that evaluation is also reimbursable. So you should get that back because you might pay anywhere from $750 to $1,500 just on the size of your house because they have to use the Xactimate program that the insurance companies use. Eric, you got anything to add?
Yeah, people always add supplements to insurance claims. So that's not unusual to add supplements. Sometimes you even do it when the Xactimate. You may have something that's a special order item. So you may have a question mark to be determined later what that is. And once you get those estimates in, you can add that supplement to that claim.
And, that's an interesting point because a lot of, especially some of the, some houses have specialty crown molding, have a lot of specialty items, have specialty lighting. And, the Xactimate program doesn't accommodate that. And you're going to have to get your own. Yeah. And you're going to have to get your own.
Also, too, go ahead,
Eric.
Because, some houses have copper, awnings, copper, and those things are expensive type items. And they may have been custom made. So you also want to include that kind of stuff. And then also want to add to it, before we're out of time, if anybody has any commercial questions for roofing as well, we can help them with that as well.
Yes. All right. And hopefully, let's go to Vicki. And if we got time, we got Governor Edwards who's supposed to start a press conference anytime. So if we have to cut away, I'm going to throw it to Dave and he's going to take it from there. But Vicki, how can we help you?
Yeah, I'm in Covington and we had water spots in 5 different rooms.
Emily
coming
is
through
next.
Our fireplace. We had it upstairs in the bathroom. We saw yellow water stains on the ceiling. We had it in the bedroom. I know my husband, we were looking at the roof and, we had some shingles down, but he's wondering if they're not going to want to replace the roof because we can't see like a bunch of missing shingles. But we have 5 different rooms with water that came in and it's on the ceiling.
All right, Eric, that's yours.
Definitely. I mean, again, we go back to the same formula. You know, you got to get up there. If those shingles lifted, they may have laid back down. Doesn't mean that you didn't get water underneath that shingles into the roof. So just because it's not gone, it still may have broken that tab and lifted up and allowed that moisture to get into there. So you need to make sure how many lifted shingles do I have? You know, what's loose right now?
So that's what you get a contractor out for. He goes up and decides which ones were lifted and all that. Because, I mean, when we have 5 different rooms on the second floor and the first floor that have water stains, obviously we had roof problems.
That's I mean, just based on what you're saying, that's indicative of probably a new roof. You still have to do that testing, but I would say, 95% chance you would. Now, here's what you need to do. After you get the report, you advocate in a very polite manner. I remember in Katrina, in Lakeview, we had thousands of claims, and the elderly people, some of the elderly people had a different view of insurance companies, that they come in here and they take care of me. They're going to find all the damage, and they're going to, the good hands people are going to come through. Now, I'm not being facetious, but I know. So they feel very uncomfortable about negotiating. Okay. They feel uncomfortable about bartering. They feel uncomfortable about going to car dealerships, bartering over a car. And so, what I told these people to get them out of a different frame of mind is they were very Catholic in the Christian religion, very, very Catholic. And so I told them, Abraham negotiated with God. He negotiated with Sodom and Gomorrah. If 50 people, if 50 people are still good, will you burn down the city? I'm no theologian, by the way I'm describing it, but I'm giving you the gist of it. And I think they went down to 5. If there's 5 good people, will you burn down? And I'm saying, son of a gun, if Abraham can negotiate with God, it's okay for you to negotiate with State Farm. Okay?
Well, I feel, and that's who we have is State Farm. And we had adjusters after Katrina, and one said to replace the roof. After they said that, then another one came out and said, "Oh, I think you should just patch it." I said, "Get out of here." We've already been told to get a new roof.
Advocate.
I mean, I wasn't taught.
And you know what?
Yeah. So advocate.
And be polite.
And my husband's very polite.
But
and get someone out there to give you an estimate.
He's very polite.
Yeah, and
we'll get a roofer contract and get an estimate and then advocate.
And
I will
put
let my husband know.
Put it in writing and make sure he says the causation of, if that's what he believes, the causation of the roof failure or the need for a new roof is due to the winds of Hurricane Ida. That's the conclusion.
Okay, well, we will be very polite, but I know we need a new roof, and we've got
Emily is next
on 5 different rooms, and it was pouring through our fireplace. It was very interesting.
Now the fireplace is